Okay, yeah, I just felt God was saying that I should share me, basically. Okay, righty ho, righty ho. Yeah, it's never too easy knowing how to do this one, but I'm going to see how God leads, I suppose. Yeah. So born at the end of the 60s, 69 July. Yeah, I was born very premature. I think about 7 months. Not 7 months premature. that would be 2 months, as the pregnancy was. No, but 2 months premature. Yeah. I was in the incubator for quite a while. During that time, my mother was basically getting off with a man she later married. So she replaced my biological dad with. Well, the problem is in the 60s, we've got to understand in the 60s, there was this understanding really, you didn't really have a relationship together until you were married. So people didn't really have a chance to get to know each other. They were sort of put together pretty quickly, especially if they got physical quickly. There was this, hush, get married quickly, go on. You've already started that, so you best get married. We don't want you living in sin. So, yeah. People got married to the wrong people all the time. That's the reality. And I don't blame them for not staying together, because if they were the wrong people for each other, well then obviously, they've got to take care of themselves. That's the point. People, you do need to take care of yourself. If you're with the wrong person, if you're with someone that God hasn't put you with, then, finish it. Walk away. Just put it this way, you might be with the right person, but you might have started it off so badly, you both need a break. You both need just to get your head right. So walk away. Let God tell you whether that relationship was what you wanted or not. If it was, it will work out. You'll get back together and it'll be absolutely fantastic. But if you're with the wrong person, then no, you shouldn't be going through that. You shouldn't be putting yourself through that. You've got years of angst and hurt and trying to mould yourself into something which you're not, for the sake of this other person, or for the sake of the relationship, or the sake of the children in the relationship. By the time the children left home, you won't even know who you are. So you shouldn't necessarily have to go through that. So I don't blame them for that, really. Obviously, when you're married, having an affair with someone else while your child is in intensive care, not necessarily a great way to do things. I was too young to know. So exactly what she was doing at the time, I had no idea, so it didn't bother me too much. But the fact of the matter is, when I was conceived, she'd already had Paul, my brother. Now, Paul is, there was always that possibility that Paul is the son of the man she was having an affair with that she later married. So he's not my pure brother, but she had him. I think he was still very, very young when she got pregnant. So she rejected me from that point. And so there was never any relationship there between her and me, as a child. She wanted nothing to do with me. That's why basically she was off with this other person. And so, as I say, that's okay. That's where she was. That's okay. The reality is, during that time, that was a difficult time for people. I don't think people, really knew what they were doing with regards to relationships. It was tricky. They were coming out of the old stuffed time of society, coming into this new sort of free love stage. And so, obviously, very, very difficult. I don't blame her for that. In the end, she did what she did. That's okay. That's okay. I wish you well. Yeah, I mean, I tried to see her again when I was about 18, 19. But again, there was nothing there. There was nothing there from her point of view, nothing at all. So, yeah, I think I sort of went to see her a couple of times and then that's it. I knew there was no point continuing with that, really. There's nothing there. She just happens to be the person who supplied the egg and the womb for me to come out of. That was it, really. Yeah. Right, 1 second. There's a personage here, so I'll just pause this a sec. Well, as I say, that was the mother. The dad, well, that was Kenneth John Chapman. That was Dad, yeah. But I say, when that divorce happened, apparently he was the one at the hospital all the time when I was in incubator. Well, when he wasn't working. So, but of course, when that relationship ended, he then met someone else who happened just Scottish lady. So they got married, and yeah, I don't know exactly what happened, but he basically turned his back on his family, his children, myself and Kelly, my sister. So obviously Kenny and Brenda, my mother, must have stayed together for quite a few more years because Kelly is a few years younger than me. So therefore, they must have stayed together for a couple more years afterwards to have her. Yeah, as I say, I was very young. I didn't have a clue what was going on at the time. It's just when I think about it, obviously she was having an affair, but that affair must have lasted quite a while. Yeah. Well, I think obviously the affair partner was a person who she truly loved. And whether Kenny truly loved her, I don't know. Maybe. I honestly don't know. Certainly, when he got married to Jean, yeah, he decided, and maybe as a couple they decided, that he was starting a new life, so the old life had to be let go. That's possible. Maybe it's too painful for him. I don't know. That's the point. We don't know, do we? We can't put ourselves in his shoes because, yeah, that was then, this is now. Yeah. No idea. I don't think he ever had any particular regrets. He did try and develop a relationship with Kelly later on. Yeah, probably about 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I think. He tried to sort of get to know her. Bit late, really, but there you go. She was in her mid to late 30s at that point in time, so bit late, really. You missed all that childhood, didn't you? So, yeah, that was the situation. So, I was put into care at about 4 years old, I think. About that. I remember certain things that happened around that time. I remember certain smells because I was staying somewhere in a children's home near Brands Hatch. When we used to go and see the racing, because I remember the smell of the cars. Yeah. As they were whizzing around the track. The noise and the smell is a faint memory. So we used to go there. Then I went to other places, and I went to other places, and I went to other places. Because that's the thing, when you're in care, you just get shipped around here, there, and everywhere. Where the space, basically. So yeah, I went to play at a place called Portal House in Dover. That was a nice enough place. I mean, put it this way, as a kid, I was very good at running. Very good at running. Yeah, we used to have this thing at Portal House where we used to have a race, and the people that won got prizes. The prizes were normally sweet. So put it this way, a dentist delight. Now, The faster kids used to have to start last. So I was always the one starting last. Then there was the one time, not in band camp, but that's a different thing. There was one time where I went past nearly all of them. I got to one kid who basically said, if I let him win, he would basically give me all the sweets anyway. He just wants to win. So I said, okay. Of course, I let him win. Did he give me anything? Nope. So I never let him win again. No. He didn't win again. No, I smacked him big time after that. I was good. Very good at running at that point in time. I've always been someone who, when I start something, I can be quite driven. I can, be pretty good at it. I can learn. Whereas, later on, I went to a place called the Cotswold Community, and they had tennis courts. And I was about 12. And at the age of 12, I learned how to play tennis, and I was then teaching adults how to play tennis. At the age of 12. Just because I've watched Wimbledon, I've watched how they play and what they did. How did they hold the racket? And how did their arm move when they were playing certain shots? And just used to go and practice. And practice enough that I could then teach. I wasn't an instructor or anything like that, but I could basically teach. I could teach the basics. And I was only 12 years old, 12, 13. But that's part of being driven. Same with football. There was me and a chap called Jamie Tomlinson, who would practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. We would get the hula hoop rings. We'd get those. He would go and stand right over there. Set an angle over there. Right over by, I don't know, there's no point of reference right now. You can just see a tree in the track there. So he'd go over there. He'd put the ring there and stand in the ring. I had to kick the ball from where I am to land in that ring. And he had to do the same. I had a ring that I was standing. And we'd just move it back further. We'd move it to a different angle. We'd practice ball control. We'd practice all of that. We really, went out and then practiced. Because it's like, well, if we're going to do it, we might as well learn how to do it properly. So, That's why, as a Christian, when I became a Christian, I didn't just settle, into church. It's like, okay, Lord, you're saying that the Bible says we should be seeing your glory. Okay, where's that? I don't see it. Where is it? Is it around there somewhere? Is it behind that tree? No? Okay. So, okay, how do we get that then? When the Lord said, the things I do are nothing compared to what you do, I'm looking around and saying, excuse me, Lord, where is that? I can't see any of that at all. Why? Why are we not seeing it? What do we need to do to see that? Even as a very young Christian, I was, asking questions of God about that, because it's like, well, again, if you're going to do something, do it properly. If you're going to give your life to God, then give your life to God. So, But basically, in care, you deal with the stuff that you deal with, really. During the time of about 14 years, if you're in care for that long, you, generally speaking, you suffer physically, mentally, emotionally, and even sexually. There's abuse of all those types that you have to suffer, that you have to go through. And there can be a lot of it, especially if you get into the wrong sort of children's home. There was a lot of it then. We've been hearing about it more recently, where people have been going back over things that happened years ago, and people have been coming out and saying, oh, this happened, that happened in that children's home. It was common. It was quite common then. It was, it was what it was like, you know. So, yeah, that was the case. And then, yeah, I was, I mentioned this before, I was fostered by my auntie and uncle on my father's side, just as a way of my auntie basically sticking two fingers up at my dad. Yeah. And again, that was a case of, oh, another family, oh, another chance of, you know, a family life. I think I was about 11 when that happened. That's before I went to the Cotswold community. Yeah. But basically, my auntie had been telling me that because I didn't have the proper education in the school system, because I was in care, the secondary schools wouldn't take me. So I had to go to that Cotswold community place. I found out later that that was complete nonsense. That she had basically put me back into care. But she was telling me that she had no power, that wasn't her doing it. Again, no. In the end, she was that member of the family who had to try to appear to be holier than thou. You know, she was the one that, you know, if anyone had a problem, she'd be the one to sort of swoop in. Oh, I'll fix it, don't worry. But then she'd be slagging off that family member later. That was her, the way she did things. Again, the family knew, they put up with it. They basically enabled her to be like that. So again, not fully her fault, because she was encouraged and enabled to behave in that manner. Yeah, and other family members basically joined in. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. Again, that's what it is. You know, do I have any hatred towards her? No. You know, it is what it is. It's basically, it's made me who I am. The reality is, it's made me who I am. I have a degree of compassion with people, because pretty much whatever someone's been through, I've been through it. I've been there. I've gone through that. So it's like, okay. Yeah, but then as a Christian, I know to, you know, send them to Him, send them to Yeshua, rather than, you know, encourage them to wallow in the mess they're in. Yeah, like one thing that has really annoyed me is Christian counselling. Oh, because Christian counselling basically is like, well, we're just basically, we do counselling, but we just call it Christian counselling. You know, we'll have a little pray beforehand, but we do it the same way the worldly counsellors do it. Yeah, we're basically, you know, listen, and gently encourage people to find their way. It's like, excuse me, you have a God that can deal with all this. You have a God that can tell you exactly the root of the problem, lead you to, help to get them to go get to the root quickly, and get this dealt with within a matter of days. And you're still taking years to get anything dealt with. Shame on you. For that, okay, not shame on you, for goodness sake. Okay, we forgive, but it's like, for goodness sake. Yeah, I'm not happy with that at all. The way they do things, the way they, no, that's not good. Don't do that. Just don't do that. There's no need for it at all. Again, stop trying to do things the world's ways. You have a God who's more than capable. You have a God who's more than able. By His stripes we are healed. Already done. Just needs to be connected. That's all. So, that's the thing. I have that desire. I have that empathy, compassion, that sort of stuff. Yeah. And, you know, yeah, sometimes I can come across like judgy, the Christian counselling people. But again, they are where they are. They've learned that this is the way to do things. Right. It's not the way to do things, but they've learned that this is the way to do things. So, okay. Lord, forgive them and help them. I try not to judge people because I'm not perfect in any way, shape or form. Not at all. Yeah, I've made so many mistakes in my life. Massive ones and tiny ones and ones that have hurt God and hurt other people. You know, I'm not going to judge people. I've said before, I had a situation where God showed me how Christian counselling needs to be. How you can take someone who's gone through some absolutely atrocious things. And, over years, over 30 odd years. And where this person is addicted to all this medication as a way to try and deal with it. Because that basically is how the system deals with this stuff. Pump this person full of crap so they basically forget it rather than deal with it. And 2 hours. 2 hours, all that was gone. All of it was gone in 2 hours. By letting God do things his way. 2 hours, gone. Yeah. That's the way it should be. Years? Who wants to hang on to that crap for years? The reason why people go to Christian counselling is to get that stuff dealt with. Not, to have someone to talk to, for a couple of years about it. No, come on. Let's look to God. Let's look to God and say, okay, Lord, how do we deal with this stuff? Because, as I've said before, each and every person is an individual. Each and every person needs to be dealt with as an individual. There's no pattern to deal with people, none at all. What happened years ago when I helped this woman deal with this stuff, there's no pattern. I wouldn't try and do that with someone else exactly the same way. That's how it had to be done with her. I wouldn't try and do it that way with someone else because in the end, I simply say to God, okay, how do you want to do it with this one? How do you want to approach it with this person? What does this person need? That's how she needed it dealt with. But that's not necessarily how the next person or the next person or the next person will need it to be dealt with. We've got to get away from the fact that there are easy ways to do things. There aren't. You've got to go to God. On everything. When dealing with someone, you've got to go to God. You've got to recognise that this person is an individual. That pattern is not going to work. The world has that pattern, don't they? The world has this medication that, for depression, try that. If that doesn't work, try that. If that doesn't work, try that. Excuse me, you're pumping all this crap into a person. And a lot of this stuff can actually lead to worse depression. Lead to suicidal thoughts. Yeah, great. Give them that. Wonderful idea, that is, yeah. So, that's just a base on why I am who I am, basically. Why God had to mend my heart, because, there was no love there. Well, there was, but I suppose I was pushing it down. That's quite possible. Maybe there was a tiny bit there and I was pushing it down, I don't know. But I know years ago, God said he's going to have to teach me how to love, because I didn't learn. I didn't learn from parents. I didn't learn from any parental figure how to love. So God said he's going to teach me how to love. And so, that's who I am. That's the situation. And so, yeah. In the end, yeah. Had that situation last night. It was interesting. But, again, I was flying a bit out of control. It was dangerous. Especially as heart hadn't been renewed. So God had to bring me down, crashing to the floor. Now, let's say I was 6 foot up. That crash to the floor is going to hurt a tinge. If God left it for another week, I could have been 20, 30 foot up. That crash to the floor would have hurt a damn sight more, right? So, yeah. But then God's saying, I'm going to do it, you can blame me. You can be angry with me. You can be offended by me. You can be frustrated with me. I'm big enough, I can handle that. That's why. Who do I point people to? Him. It has to be, doesn't it, really? Yeah. It has to be. Oh, I was having a go at him last night. Big time. Big time. Yeah. And he's basically saying, come on. Give it more. Come on. I've heard worse. Come on. I've heard worse. Get it off your chest. Come on. Let's get this sorted. Come on. You got more? Bring it. Come on. Yeah. That's the point. You can't put enough on him to make him turn away. You can't do that. You can't. Whatever your burden has been over your life, that may be too big for you. It's not for him. Yeah, however much you want to rage, that's okay. Go to him. He can handle that. That's fine. He's looking at you with love when you start and when you finish and during. It doesn't change. At no point does he look at you thinking, bloody hell, you're disgusting. Yeah, you disgust me. All these things, how can you say such things as that? No, he says that I love you. Yeah, you've got this going on. Okay, get it out. Come on, get it out. It needs to be. It's like when someone's got a wound and it's all full of pus. You've got to get all the pus out, haven't you? Yeah. What's all that angst about? It's pus. That's what it is, really. It's just like pus. You've got to get it out. You've got to get it out and then heal. Yeah. Put it this way, last night when I was having a go at God, I felt that this was a far more dangerous situation with regards to my heart breaking than when my dogs were taken. And I felt when my dogs are taken, then that's it, my life is over basically. Last night I felt that was far worse, because if you can't trust God, it was a leading and guiding situation. It's where I thought God was telling me to do something, and we've had this so many times in the past where I've basically said to God, look, if I believe you're telling me to do something and it's not you, you've got to tell me. You've got to help me to know it's not you. So of course last night I had another situation like that, and that's basically what God used to bring me crashing down. You know, yeah. And so in the end, I was bringing up all the greatest hits of when they'd done the same thing in the past, and yeah. And then sort of realised this morning, that's not the same. What happened last night wasn't the same. Why things happened in the past, I don't know. I didn't necessarily spend time with God trying to understand why that had happened. With this one, I have. With this one, it was important, you know, to understand why that happened. And yeah, it's just God expressing his love. Really. That's what I say. Who do I point to? When someone comes to me with an issue, who do I point to? God. Whatever it is, if you've got a relationship that isn't working, go speak to God. Yeah, if you're struggling as a Christian, go see God. Go take it to God. Go and see him. You know, I mean, I'll pray about it with that person, and if God wants me to say something to them that can be encouraging, that could be helping them to get to him, if they're struggling to get to him, then I'll do what I can to help. But in the end, always going to be pointing to him. always going to be pointing to him. Because even though I've been through the stuff I've been through, even though I have a certain degree of empathy and compassion towards people, I can't deal with the people the way God can. Not in any way, shape or form. I can't offer anywhere near what he can. And the last thing I ever want to do is have people look at me. Look to me for the answers. Don't ever do that. God, no. Don't ever do that. It's not because I know me and I'm such a bad person and I'm such a useless Christian and all this stuff. No, it's got nothing to do with that. Even if I was the best Christian that ever lived, compared to God, the best things I have to offer are just disgusting, dirty rags. That's all. That's all it is, and that's the reality. But it's not about trying to put myself down. It's about saying, that's the situation. Who has the answers? God. Who knows you the best? God. I could spend 1,000,000 years with you. I still couldn't possibly know you as well as God knows you. We don't have 1,000,000 years to spend together for me to figure you out, for me to help you. Right? That's the reality. We don't have that sort of time. Sorry, a bit sniffly. We are getting towards the stage, at the moment, weather-wise, autumn is coming. Definitely, autumn is coming. Long sleeve t-shirts are going to be the point of order quite soon. Short sleeve, nope. Too cold. Far too blinking cold for that. Aye. Yeah. So, yeah. Hopefully in some way this video has helped you to understand that, the passion in me, the fire in me to sort of help the church. And I say helping the church is not about just helping the church. It's about trying to provide a church that's functional for people to come into who are coming from unsaved to saved. If they're saved, let's get them sorted out. Let's get all that baggage done. Let's get their mind renewed. Let's get all that done. Let's set them on the path where they can love God with all their heart, mind and soul. Where they know how to do that. But let's have a church that's designed for the people in the area. Let's have a church that's individual. That's functioning as like an individual blood cell. Basically, that's what churches are, really. That's all they are, really. Individual blood cell doing their job. Doing their small little job in that small little area. Focusing on what the body needs them to focus on. All this point that we all should look the same and act the same and, absolute nonsense. Rubbish. We're not the same. We're all different. We've all been, had lives that are different because we've all got jobs that are different. We're all called to something that's different to someone else. We're called to respond to things differently. If we were all the same, how on earth would we serve anyone? How on earth would people be served? The people out there who aren't saved, they're all different. They're all different types of people. What they need is different. So someone may need to come to me because of my understanding and my way of dealing with things. But then the next person needs to go to someone else because I won't be able to help them that much because of my way of understanding, my way of dealing with things won't suit them. That's the thing. We're supposed to be different. If we're all the same, then there's a lot of people out there who won't come because if we're all the same, the way we are doesn't suit them. We need to celebrate the fact that we're individual. Not celebrate the fact that we're all the same. Or that we've tried to cram ourselves into this understanding of trying to be all the same. Trying to be Baptist or Methodist or United Reformed or C of E or Pentecostal. All this, no. Get away from, if there's any identity with your denomination, drop it. Create your own identity with God. Let God tell you what your identity should be. Your identity that is commonly understood, that's not yours. That's not God at all. Anyway, there you go. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go back to the car, drive home, and figure out what there is to do this afternoon. No idea. You take care. God bless. I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.